Let's see. All right. How's everybody doing? We're going to go ahead and get started. What have y'all been learning so far in Ignite? What are some ahas? Let's share with each other what you guys have picked up. I know you've been getting some good nuggets. Nothing? Y'all haven't learned anything so far?
I have one.
Thank you.
With John Pace the other day, I learned I had been door knocking and giving out business cards, and he said, leave something of value with the person.
Right.
They have something to actually look at and that's useful, and then they remember that with you.
Wonderful. And so as a result of that, what's the situation that you might do differently to leave something of value? Thanks, Robbie.
He said doing it was something about like ways to decorate your home or like a market report,
right?
Things like that, like Thanksgiving things.
Right. And you had said that you had done door knocking and you had your, you had given your card, but you said you would do it differently now, that you would actually have something to leave like that, right?
Definitely.
Awesome. So leave something of value. And that also, when we talk about prospecting in the second part of the class today, we're going to talk about when you're doing prospecting, you want to make sure too that your Facebook posts and your social media or Instagram is not just, hey, I'm in real estate, who do you know? Which those are good to pepper in between other things, but you do want to look for content that is of value. Here's a pie recipe, happy Thanksgiving. Here's how to winterize your home. Here's, what you should be doing in your yard right now, right? So a lot of different things that you can be offering value before you ever are talking real estate. So thank you for that. What else have you guys learned? I know, Ross, you've been in some classes. What's something that you took away? I'm going to put you on the spot if y'all aren't going to speak up. Or what have you picked up, Ross, that you want to do for your business since you're new?
I think the biggest thing for me is just that the thing you put on the screen every day, the growing your business part, the 10 prospects, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I've been taking notes.
Yeah, the 10-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just always doing that basically, but at least 5 days a week of growing that side of the business is so critical.
Right. You're exactly right. When new agents, there is so much information that we have out there with Keller Williams and the training and these classes and everything, but you really need to focus on those 10-4 that Ross was saying. You should be doing 4 activities. 3 of them you should be doing 10 a day, and the other is 10 a week. Right? And if you do those for 3 months consecutively, you will have business. But the consistency is the key. You can't do it 1 day a week and have a blitz and expect results. It needs to be every single day. And when I'm coaching agents, if you really have an issue with doing 10 of something a day, I'd rather see you do 5 every day for those 5 days than do 10 one day and then not do any more, right? Because the whole point is to get into a rhythm where it becomes natural, it becomes part of your everyday without thinking. And that's what the most successful agents have. So that is your recipe, is that 10-4. That is the foundation for your business. And I guarantee if you do those activities regularly, and we're going to talk about time blocking for those things, you'll get business. You just have to do the activities. So thank you, Ross. Who else? So we've got the ahas, leave something of value or provide something of value. I'm going to add leave or provide because as I said, growing, you need to always be growing your business and working on the 10-4 activities. Remember, Gary Keller said nothing is more important to your business than lead gen. And a lot of agents also, when you get your first client or when you get your next client, it's like we pour all of our time into that person, right? Or people. And we're like, oh, I'm so busy because I got a new client. You need to time block to take care of them in the afternoon, and you do your other business in the morning, your lead gen, your marketing, your prospecting, so that when that person or people, if they fall out and when they close, you have more in the pipeline, right? So make sure that nothing comes before getting more business. All right, any other ahas that you guys want to share with each other, since some people have been on some classes and maybe not others?
I was reminded of the importance of the scripts. I've heard it before. I've chosen to re-engage in the office. Just reminding that for some reason at this point it really resonated, the need for knowing.
Right.
Period.
Awesome. I like that. So James has been an agent for many years, right?
Yeah, licensed.
Licensed, okay, licensed and active for a couple of years. So I love that you've been coming to these, and other existing agents come to these because you can always learn something new. And as he said, he always heard about the importance of scripts, but now it resonated with him. And that's why these classes, you're always in a different space, or you're absorbing so much you can't take any more in. And so you do need to look at, you know, learning and what else can you now heighten your skills with. So that's a great point, but the scripts are really important, you guys. I hear all the time when I'm talking to agents, why aren't you lead genning, or what's holding you back? And most people are like, I don't know what to say, or I don't know that I'm comfortable, right? And so script practice is super important. You can do it individually where you read over them, but I encourage you to read them out loud, because when you hear your voice and stating the phrases that are meant to create emotion and action on the part of the person you're speaking with, then you're going to feel more comfortable when you hear it again. Do it in your car when you're driving. Just pretend you're on a call, right? And make sure that you allow your personality to come through too. You know, you can tell scenarios, you can joke. Obviously, you're going to get to know the personality of the person you're talking to. But hang on just a second, or I'll lose my train of thought. And when you look at the scripts that KW provides, sometimes you'll see things in italics, or you'll see quotes. Those are intentional phrases to tie down the conversation, or to create and elicit the person to think about what you said. And you'll even see in there it says pause. So when you say, James, thank you for allowing me to come in tonight to talk to you about selling your home, and at the end, when you're ready to sign the listing, we'll talk about moving forward. And that pause helped him take in that I was saying when you're going to sign the listing, and that's kind of dropping the suggestion there that I am going to be asking him to sign it. And then say, of course you're going to have questions, you know, and we'll get through those, but you know, this is the intention, is at the end you're going to sign with me, right? Yeah. So while you may want to try to change some of the phrasing to be more you can. I just caution you to look for those tie downs and those phrases and questions. Yes, now what were you gonna
I
say?
didn't have a question. I'm smiling because when you say use your personality or show your personality, and the bottom line is you can only get there through mastery of your scripts. When you said it just now, you were talking and it seemed natural. I mean, learning it initially is like you feel cookie cutter,
Right.
but only when you commit to the actual principles of the script can you then interject, because you'll know to always get back to certain things. So that's why.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that comes from saying it in your car. And like I said, the more you say it out loud, the more easily that's going to flow.
Yeah.
Where when you read it for the first time, you go, oh, that's pushy,
Yeah.
right? But if you're sitting across the table from someone and you go, I'm going to answer your questions, and at the end of the night, you're going to be ready to go, right? And you smile and you nod and you mirror and match them and all of those things that we're going to learn. But yeah, so just scripts are so important. Okay, we'll go ahead. Thank you guys for sharing those. Did anybody have any others before I proceed?
I had an accomplishment.
Oh, good. James has an accomplishment. What's that?
It was a small one. I tend to overthink things. And
Can you guys hear him online?
Probably not.
All right, speak up.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I tend to overthink things. So something that was really a challenge for me was just coming up with my own value proposition.
Right.
And I was hell bent on completing it tonight this time and not leaving without it. Through the help of KW and an agent here, Kim, I was able to narrow it down and bang it out and got that one. So for me, it
Awesome.
was a personal growth moment.
That is a huge growth moment in a life that you knew you needed to have that.
Correct.
And all of you, if you weren't able to be in Kim's class about powerful language and how to offer your value proposition, go on to the YouTube channel. They're all out there. So go watch that. But thank you for sharing that, James. I appreciate it. Yeah, you need to know what you bring to the table, right? You're each smart, successful. You have a team behind you. You guys can do it. You just sometimes need to get out of your own head. So thank you. All right. Oh, jumping too fast. All right. So this is, in all of your Ignite sessions, so we're not going to go over it too deeply, but I want to remind you that when you are doing your time blocking and looking at your tasks for the day, remember, and like Ross said, you need to be working on growing the business. There are your 4 activities, and then you have what it takes to run the business. Don't get so caught up in the minutia of the details of running your business that you use that as an excuse not to grow it, okay? And this is also why systems are so important. And some people will say, well, I don't have enough business. I can manage 1 or 2 clients at a time. I don't need to have systems. You do, because I challenge you to think about if you had 10 clients at a time, then how would you systematize what you have to do so that nothing falls through the crack? And there's nothing worse than missing a deadline for one of your clients, because that can cost money and it could be a complaint on your license and an E&O claim. So just think about, it's easier to set up systems when you don't have a lot of business, okay? So take advantage of smart plans and things like that in command. All right, so we're going to talk about, I love this. This is one of my favorite quotes, and I shared this with my son last night when I was re-reviewing the material. People do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Yes. I've posted a couple times different motivational quotes on the productivity page about your goals, right? Each one of you has probably a financial goal, and a transaction goal that you want to meet for either finances, to take care of your family, whatever it is. And you need to take a very hard, honest look at your day and see if your habits are in alignment with your goals. And that's hard sometimes. And I do it on, I've been starting my 411 the last couple months. I encourage all of the productivity team to do it. I work with them on theirs. And I was like, you know what? I've gotten away from doing the 411. I'm going to start doing that again. And it's remarkable how much I've stayed on track when I do that. You're welcome. And at the same time, I had to look at my habits. We've had a lot of transition when Maria first came in, a lot of time meeting with her, introducing her to the office and people and things. And I got out of my routine. And so I was like, I need to get back into my routine for the PC team, for, recruiting talent, things like that. And so by doing the 411 and time blocking to it, it's helped me with my habits. So I encourage you guys to really kind of look, are your habits deciding your future? And the other one is Gary Keller's quote that says, the best way to determine the future is to create it. It's up to you guys. You can do anything in 5 years. You can be anywhere. You can be making whatever you want to make. You can have investment property. But then you start your trajectory 1 year at a time, right? 1 month at a time. So look at the habits and decide if they're supporting your goals. Any thoughts or comments on that quote? If you were to look at your phone right now and open up your calendar, would you see the things time blocked that you need to time block for in your day? Right? Every day I have time blocked open coaching spots. So if somebody calls and says, hey, I have an issue with a listing or a buyer, I need to chat with you. Do you have time today? I can go, I have 11 or 3. And I always know what those openings are. And if I use them both, then I use them. If I don't use them, then I'm doing something productivity related, either preparing for training, looking at what we're going to be doing, or reaching out to agents that I haven't heard from. So I have that time blocked. I have my meetings. I have everything time blocked, and sometimes there is no time, right? And so I'll have to even put in just think time. Sometimes when I know I'm going to have a couple days that are back to back to back to back, and I see that I have a 30 or 45-minute window, I will block it because I know that I'm going to need that to either check emails, return other phone calls that I couldn't plan, or just have some think time. So make sure you allow for that too. Everybody good?
Yes.
All right. All right, so this is an example of what your time blocking should look like. Motivation, building time, 8 to 8:30. 8:30 to 11, daily success habits, lead gen and follow-up. We're going to talk when we do the prospecting part about what lead gen can look like. Lead gen does not always have to be pick up the phone and for 2.5 hours make phone calls. Lead gen, you can do phone calls Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can work on, going to, if you're in a networking group on Wednesday mornings, you can do all sorts of prospecting and lead gen. But it needs to be consistent. And it needs to hit on those 10 fours, okay? So this has the lead gen 8:30 to 11, which is also why Ignite is set up from 9 to 11, that is part of our system and or part of our model, because you guys have gotten used to 9 to 11, I'm going to be in Ignite, and then that time, once Ignite is over, should be used for your lead gen. Then you have lunch. Then it says run the business activities, right? Marketing, listings, reading, negotiating, and attending trainings. And some of that could be the ones online on YouTube. And obviously, if trainings are at different times, you have to adjust. And then 2:30 to 4:30, again, back to what Ross said earlier, growing the business. And that includes previewing real estate, making your presentations, meeting with clients. 4:30 to 5, review your calendar for tomorrow and see what you need to do to prepare, make your success list. And then look at that, 5:30 to 9:30, family time. So it's as if you're going into an office and you had an 8:30 to 5 job, or 8:30 to 5:30, only you report to yourself. But you need to be this committed to these activities to really make it work. Can you get by with just winging it? Absolutely. Is that going to set the foundation for sustainable business? No. So what are your thoughts on seeing it broken out like this?
Definitely gives you a framework or an outline to work from.
Right.
You can adjust the hours, but it's definitely provides a roadmap to follow.
Right. And if you decide that you're going to go running, or it's a beautiful, one of the last nice fall days, and you're going to take some time to go do something outdoors or whatever, if you erase it from your calendar, you must replace it. So if you go, well, I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to lead gen this morning from 8:30 to 11, I'm going to replace that tonight from 7 to 9, right? So if you take it off the calendar, you have to replace it. And remember, who wants to tell me what the 80-20 rule is? It's a pattern of predictable imbalance in life. It's called the 80-20 principle. If we focus on the 20% that really matters, that brings 80% of the results. So many times we get caught up in all the other busyness, but we don't do what matters, right? I don't know how many times, I'll get home and my kids or Jim will ask me, well, how was your day? And I'm like, oh, it was so busy. And then he'll go, well, what did you get done? What was your big, we talk like we're in training. How, what was your big achievement or aha for the day? And I'm like, I don't know what I accomplished today, but I know I was running. I was busy. But did I do the one thing that I really needed to do that day? Right? And so if not, then I know the next day I have 2 big rocks I got to get done. So it helps you stay on track if you focus on the 20%. And even to the point of saying, I'm going to have to put that off till later because I haven't done my big rocks for today. One of the biggest things that I had to learn since I've come here, because I always want to help. The person in front of me is the most important person in that moment, right? And so when someone comes to my door and says, can you help me? I'm always like, what do you need? And used to jump up and that kind of thing, or a text or a phone call. And I've had to learn the behavior to say, I'm happy to help you. Can it wait till 11? Or is it critical right now? If it's critical right now, where there's something major, then absolutely. But just by saying, can it wait till 11? Oh, yeah, sure, that's fine. No problem, So it can be, yes, just maybe not right now, and then you fit it in when you look at your schedule. You need to honor your family time. And if you know you always do some meditation or some prayer and church and things with your family, and you're in front of a client or talking to a potential client, and they ask you, oh, can you come look at my home Sunday at 11 o'clock? And that's your church time, or that's your after church time with your family. You need to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I already have a commitment. How about if I come at 1? Oh, sure, that's fine, right? You teach people how to treat you, and you need to control your calendar and not let it control you. Does that make sense? Okay. Who has some work to do on time blocking on their calendar?
I do for sure.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think we all do. It's also good when you, like I have on my calendar, I'll say open coaching appointment. Then I put the people's name in once we set it up, or I'll put open recruiting appointment, so that then it also kind of speaks into existence that I'm going to fill those, right? And so when someone, like I said, says, when can you meet with me? Then I can go, here are my openings. So have those on your calendar, put in there open, from different times, so that your calendar does kind of speak to what you're trying to fill. So I want you guys to take your phones out right now and those online. And I want you to look at maybe, like you can either start this week. Yeah, because next week is Thanksgiving, but put in some things. And if you know you're going to have reoccurring, like I set up certain things every day at 2 and at 3, then you can have it repeat. I want you to go ahead and plug in some time that you can put in for your lead gen to grow your business, okay? Put in some of your other activities that you want to time block on your phones.
Does lead gen always have to happen in the morning?
No, like I said, you can, if you can't do it in the morning, you can sub it out, because sometimes people are more available at night. But because it is your big rock, it's important, if you can get it out of the way for the day, then you kind of feel like you slayed the day too. If you're like, I did my lead gen, I got 2 appointments for next week, solid, right? So it doesn't always have to be in the morning, but some of it should be. Because people are also more fresh, you're more mentally alert, your energy level is better, right? And generally by the end of the day, if you've scheduled it for later and you're like, man, I am just beat. I am, I'm done peopling. I don't want to talk to anybody else. So there's a higher probability if you put it on for the evening that you may not get to it. Yeah. So I want you guys to take some time, and I want you to kind of put, I want you to put the things on your calendar that you need to do. You don't have to follow this exactly, but look at some of the activities and the rhythm that they're getting into. Did you give it to Melissa? Okay.
Oh. It's also here.
Here it is. Is this it?
No, that's not.
Oh, all right. I'll need to, oh, here it is. It's over here.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen it.
Any questions? How's that feel for you guys to be filling some of that up?
I have a question.
Yes.
So if you're somebody who really likes to have something checked off for the day,
Uh-huh.
like not just I worked on, I did, I completed.
Uh-huh.
However, you're also not necessarily great at figuring out how much time it's going to take.
Right.
I always seem to underestimate how much time it's going to take. So then I end up taking whatever's coming next. If it's not has to be done right now,
Right.
and I push it off so that I can have that other
Right.
thing completed, so I can So I can check it off of my list, so I can
Right.
have that satisfaction of that thing being completed.
So there's, I'll say this first and then we can work around that. So Melissa's question was, how do you handle if she's allotted 2 hours to get something done and she didn't finish it? Now she's got to get on to her next task that she's time blocked. I would say you need to be more mindful of your time, because if you have it open-ended, we will always use the space of the time allowed. So if you had blocked 1 to 3 to get this project done, and you're like, I gotta stop at 3 because I got something else, right? That's equally important. You'll get as much as you can done. But if you know there's safety in, well, then my 3 to 4, I'll just kind of roll into that time, right? We will use the time allotted. So if you allow too much time, you're going to fill it. You're going to be like, great, now I got 4 hours to get it done. So I would encourage you to really analyze, how long really should this take? And then if you don't finish it, move on to the next, and just know, okay, I have an hour's worth. I got to finish either later after the other things or tomorrow. If it's a contract, that supersedes everything else in those times. And that happens, you guys. You're going to get your schedule set, and you're going to think you're going to be doing something else. And now the client calls, I want this house, write it up. And now everything's shifted. So you do need some flexibility in that. But I would encourage you to not allow the safety in saying, I'll just eat into my next time, and not do that. And you'll know what your priorities are. If they're equally important, then you need to get to the other one too, right? If one is just time filler and just space, then complete the big rock. But try to be cognizant of how much time it's really going to take when you're time blocking. Does that, I know there's no way to say.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out a way to better estimate how long certain tasks are going to take.
Well,
so
yeah, and just saying, well, I think this should take an hour and a half. So if I allow for 2, that gives me a buffer. And you know yourself well enough to go, yeah, maybe sometimes I get sidetracked, or, also set a timer. Set a timer for the halfway point to go, this is halfway, how are you doing? And it can just get you back on track. And being aware of it enough to ask the question means you're aware of it, right? And so now you'll be even more cognizant of, as you're putting things in your calendar, how long things are really going to take. And the one thing that we don't account for well enough is travel time, right? In between appointments, if you think, okay, I've got to get from my house to this client's or to this showing, and all of a sudden now there's an accident, and you're like, great, I'm going to be late. You need to account for possible traffic. I put everything on Waze. I know where I'm going.
Oh, it's over.
but I know where I'm going, but I use Waze so that if there's an accident, it will divert me proactively. You can't fix late. So be aware of that. Remember that your big rocks, your 20% of what you really should be focusing on, is what brings 80% of your results. It's called the Pareto effect. All right, so we talked about growing your business versus running. Yeah.
Before you move on, same thing. Can you help me time block when I have a full-time job after hours, when it's usually supposed to be family time? What activity do you think I should work on more after 5 o'clock?
Lead gen.
Okay.
Lead gen is always the answer.
Okay.
Because I get it, Brittany. I know you want the training, and I know how you operate, and you want to know what's coming next. But none of the training, if you focused on that, is going to matter unless you have clients to work with. So get the clients, and I'll help you work with them. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So far, I've been having appointments every week right now.
I know, you're doing great. You've got what? You're up to how many buyers now?
6 and appointment next week. So it'll be 7, but I'm just like,
Right.
I want to be here full time, but right now after 5 o'clock, I really don't know,
I know. So you need to have a conversation with your family about when they want time with you, and like if they're doing their homework, when your kids are working on their homework, when you get home, then maybe that's when you do some lead gen, right? Use some lead gen that you send out things through command, because you can touch 15 people in one email. Now, granted, emails are not, they're good to kind of set your foundation with people, but the phone calls and the interactions are really critical to be personal. But really your big focus right now, Brittany, is lead gen, but also make sure that you don't lose sight of the people you got. Knowing where each person is in the steps, and if they're all working with a lender now, then start putting them, once you know what their price points are, on automatic drip campaigns from MLS, so they get the updates every morning, and then they can tell you which ones they're interested in. And then you can look it up and go, oh, hey, Ross, I got your text that you wanted to go look at this property. You said you didn't want to be in this particular area. Did you realize that this is in that area? Oh, no, I didn't realize that. Okay, take that off the list. So don't start pulling comps and writing contracts. Make sure that you're helping them through what properties to go look at. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did that help any?
Yes, ma'am. When I get home, I'm gonna start sending emails and just touching base and trying to reach more people.
Yeah.
Before I call it a day.
And talk to your family. Like I said, Brittany, say, look, I need 2 evenings a week and 1 day on the weekend to go look at properties, or if those are going to be the days that you're showing, and you honor your Sunday for church and family, and your clients know that's how you roll, that you're going to go look at properties either in the evening or Saturday. Okay. And that way your family knows what nights you're going to be working on your business, and you tell them why you need to do that. It's when you don't communicate with your husband and your kids that things fall apart or don't go well. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And that goes for everybody. Have the conversation with people on, give you a couple months to get things going. And I'm looking at the chat. Okay, we're going to be talking, Alyssa, your question about cold calls. We're going to do talk about scripting and making calls. So thanks for that question. Okay. Oh, so this actually, for the productivity team, I know you guys think I just live, breathe, sleep, and eat the 411. There's a reason it comes up so often in our training, and why I keep reinforcing it with you all. And the few of you on here that have done your 411s and shared them with me, this is going to help you have your roadmap. James said earlier, it helps you know where you're going and navigate what you need to do. So you wouldn't get in your car for a cross-country trip without knowing where you want to get to each day and where you're headed, right? This is your roadmap. This is your GPS for your life and your business, you guys. And if you're not in productivity coaching and you need help with this, let me know. But this is one of the biggest ways to keep you on track for your goals, and really encourage you to utilize this tool that Keller Williams has created for you guys. How do your weekly goals translate into your daily objectives? So if on Sunday you're kind of analyzing, looking at your calendar for the week, and you go, yeah, I want to get 2 appointments this week. How does that translate into what you're going to do daily?
You have to reach out to people.
Right, you have to reach out to people. Now, once you get going, it would be ideal for people to just call you and go, hey, Brittany, I want you to sell my house. I mean, that's awesome, right? And that's what all those consistent emails and texts and phone calls do. But you got to reach out, you got to ask for the business. Had an agent one time that said, yeah, my neighbor said they're going to sell next summer. I'm so excited. They keep talking to me about it. I'm like, great. Next summer. And I said, hey, whatever happened to your neighbor? I thought they were going to sell. Yeah, they did. They listed with somebody else. I said, really? Did you ask them why? Did you ask for feedback? And they went to the neighbor and they said, hey, you've been talking to me about this. You know, can I ask, did I do something wrong? Why didn't you list with me? You know what they said? You never asked.
Oh, wow.
You never asked.
Wow.
So the assumption on the agent's part was they knew I was an agent. I don't want to be pushy, right? They know I'm an agent, so if they want me to do the deal, they'll come to me. The other person was like, I kept giving hints. I kept giving them the opportunity. I didn't think you wanted to work with me. It's that simple, you guys. Sometimes you just have to ask for the business. And again, when you look at those scripts, and if all you're doing is reading them and going, so are you ready to sign the listing agreement? Oh, that's so bold, right? I would never do it like that. It's asking for the business, and you can do it in a kind, personable, nice way. And you go, James, did I answer all your questions? Is there any reason that you would not be ready to proceed with signing the listing agreement? And if they say, well, I just need to think about it. I completely understand. A lot of people, this is a big decision. Is there anything that you're questioning that you need to think about that I can answer? So you keep asking, what is it? And if it weren't for, you're not sure you really want to move, is there anything else holding you back? Would you be willing to sign with me? Right? And if you're not the first person, and if they say, well, you know, I have 2 other agents that I've made appointments with. You go, oh, that's great. It's important for you to feel comfortable with who you're going to be working with. I respect that. Can I just ask one thing? And pause. And then say, after you have your other appointments, will you give me the professional courtesy to come back in case they covered something that we didn't talk about tonight? You want to be the last one in front of them. The others may have primed them, gotten them ready and excited. Always try to go in last. Now, there are opportunities where somebody goes, well, they went ahead and signed, right? But if you're staying in front of them and ask for that courtesy to come back to you before they make a decision, that can go a long way.
Can I share something?
Absolutely.
For your evaluation.
Uh-huh.
In a situation like that, obviously setting matters when you have a formal presentation. But with neighbors and conversations or projections of time frames, my ask for that time period would come across a little different for me.
Okay.
How I typically have done it. And I would say, okay, when you're ready, I would love the opportunity to help you with selling your home. That's my ask.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's forthcoming.
And that's good too.
But I would let them know as opposed to,
Right.
because we're just talking.
Right.
Yeah, next year we're going to look at sell or when you're ready.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So different scenarios, obviously. Mine was more, they're looking to sell. They know they want to sell. All right, let's go ahead
There's
and
no
it's
script, it's just what I.
Yeah. So James saying, hey, when you're ready, if it's more of an open-ended, we're not sure we want to sell, the market, where we may have a job opportunity coming. Yeah, absolutely. You can say, when you're ready, I'm here to help on your time frame. Sometimes people just need help moving the ball down the field, but absolutely you can phrase it that way. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And one thing that I want to talk about too, kind of back to where I was saying about Brittany, the next thing coming, and this is true, I think, for a lot of people. So for those of you who have not gone on these appointments yet, your next step that you should be preparing for is have your buyer and your listing presentations ready to go. So if you make that call today and somebody says, yep, let's go, you're not freaking out. That you have your presentations for your meetings. And then the second thing you should all be doing is looking over and know how to fill out a buyer agreement, a listing agreement, and a purchase agreement. Okay, start with the listing and the buyer agreement and then move to the purchasing agreement. Again, don't get caught up in the purchasing agreement, because if you don't have clients yet, that's not going to matter, right? So those are some things that you should be doing to get prepared for the next step. Those in productivity, like we've done with several of you, pick a property, practice writing a contract in MLS, in transaction desk, send it to me. Let's go through those things now, than before it's a contract's due at 5 o'clock and you're freaking out, okay? All right, so 411, does anybody have any examples of where you've set different goals, either annually or monthly, that the 401 has helped on? Okay, then I encourage you to try this. And again, try something for 2 or 3 months and then see the results that it's going to do. Thank you, Jason. He sent me a screenshot of his calendar and he's got everything time blocked. And one thing I can say is that some of these things I see on here correspond with his 401 that he's turned in. And some of these are personal and some of these are business. So good job, Jason. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I hope you're seeing the results of doing that. So that's great. All right. Any questions? You guys, I feel like I'm talking way too much. Here was the 80-20 principle we were talking about. Your big rocks, 20% of your efforts go into 80% of your results. Back to kind of Melissa's question, but for all of us, when you're setting your objectives and on the 411, and this also kind of has to go with, you know, with how you're prioritizing your time. But when you're setting your objectives on the 411, you want them to be identifiable, metric driven, attainable, purposeful, and timely. We did the time blocking, being accountable. Wow. Who here knows what accountable is? Right? We got to be accountable to ourselves. That's one of the first steps. And when I said earlier, being honest with yourself. But being accountable says accountability is an attitude and approach. So most of the people that come to KW do so because they hear the training is great, the coaching, things like that. And so when someone is holding you accountable, sometimes it may feel a little uncomfortable. And for those in coaching, it's intended because I know your goals. And if I say, hey, you've put this on your 401 repeatedly for multiple months and it's not getting done, what's holding you back? How can I help? Right? And so you need to be accountable to yourselves too, to go, why am I stuck? Right? So it's all part of attitude, and everything that we talk about is mindset. Your attitude and mindset will drive your success before any training, coaching, whatever. So it's got to start in here and here first. You've got to believe that you guys can do this, right? If I could go to each of you and give you an injection or a drink that's going to make you a millionaire agent, I would. But I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. So, and accountability is a tool for changing, for challenge, what is it? Changing and achieving results. Yeah, that doesn't flow right, but accountability is a tool for changing and achieving results, right? And if you put something, if you've got 2 hours to complete that project, give yourself a reward and a consequence. If I get it done, then I can be done for the day. If I get it done, I'm going to go for that bike ride, that run, that walk. I'm going to read the book that I'm into. Give yourself a reward and also give yourself a consequence. If I don't get it done, then I don't get to watch my show that comes on tonight. If I don't get it done, I don't get to go on that walk tomorrow morning with my girlfriends that are all going, right? Be accountable to yourself and help use that to achieve your results. Accountability is a dynamic cycle, not static. So we're always changing, growing, evolving. It shouldn't be like, oh, I got my 401 done and I got another month, another week in the month. I'm good. I'm going to coast this next week, right? It should be, man, I'm going to see what I can do next week and maybe set my personal best. If your goal on your 411 is to get deals and get clients, and if your activities don't have going on appointments, and it's, yes, you can be doing lead gen and networking events, but you got to get back to basics. You got to be going on appointments. And if something is holding you back from that, then call a friend and go, can you practice with me? Will you meet me at a Starbucks? Let me buy you a drink and let me practice as I would with a client. Okay? For you agents that have been on appointments, Brian and Jason, James, and I can't see the whole list of who's on here. What suggestions would you give that you use to like get yourself ready or pumped up for an appointment?
Kind of like role playing with a team member or something.
Okay. Great. Yep. Great idea. Role play with team members. What else?
I also go over the contract a couple more times because
Cool.
when I'm in a meeting and I'm going over it, I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Excellent. Yeah, if you know your contracts, then when someone asks you a question and you can say, Melissa, that's a great question. A lot of people that are getting ready to buy a house ask that same question. That's going to be covered in section 16 as part of the inspection process. And I'm going to go over that with you. Right? That knowledge does make you feel more comfortable, right? So I really do encourage you to study and to know those contracts. Again, on our YouTube channel, we have some of Rick Cockrell teaching those. We will be having it in Ignite for writing contracts. We are going to be going a little out of order in December because Lindsay and Allie had to change and flip their dates, but just look for those. But yeah, know your contracts. So get ready for those appointments. And that's why I said do those proactively, okay? Accountability, share your goals with someone. The first step is to set your goals. You're 80% more likely to achieve a goal if you've written it down. And again, that's part of the 411 to get you in. Oh, KW Cares donation for a phone going off in training. So make sure that you write your goals down. That is the first step, but share your goals with somebody, right? If you're sharing them with me, if you're in coaching, share them with your family, share them with a friend. Because to have somebody say, hey, Brittany, I know you said your goal was to, X, how's that going? Right? That knowing that people know what you're working towards also helps. So plan your check-ins. The 411, we check in. I ask everybody, how'd your week go? What were your wins? What were your challenges? And then number 3, make a date, right, for when you need to check in. If you are talking with your family or support group about what you're trying to get done, I told my kids one year that if I hit a certain level, that we would take a trip to Disney. And my kids swore they were the only kids in the area that had never been to Disney. One of them was like, well, I'm almost too old now. I didn't get to go when I was younger. But we ended up going to Disney. But when they knew that that was the goal, they understood when I was working in the evening or on a weekend. So set a date to check in for those things. Does that make sense? All right, what ahas do you guys, or recap that you want to go over from this session today? A day in the life of an agent. Yes, Melissa.
So while we were doing our add something to your calendar, because I haven't been doing great at doing my 411s, I've already added for me the day before December starts to do my 411 for December. So I'm not taking that first week of December and then trying to scramble and figure out what's going to be on my 411.
Right. And then
I'll have it ready before it starts.
Nice. Proactive planning. I like it. And somebody in the coaching group, I don't want to call them out, but on their 411, they even have that as a thing to do. Exactly to your point, the last week of a month, they say prepare 411 for next. And that is so important, because if you start out that week, again, you're getting in your car and don't know where you're going. And then you're like, oh, I got to go over here. And you're like, well, I've already blown this week, right? That's already 25% of the month. So it is important to proactively plan. What else? What other ahas from today? Did seeing that breakdown of time help you guys? It did? Any of you guys have an aha up? Maybe my time is not where it should be?
Yes.
Okay, and that's fair. That's what it's for.
Yeah, the aha that I receive is, although I see that schedule, I can't follow it because I'm somewhere 9 to 5, but it helps me to balance it later that day and to focus on one thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly right. And you have to give yourself grace if Alyssa's got other obligations during the day too. You guys are going to have to be more time sensitive, but also give yourself some grace, right? But there's nothing to say, Brittany, that when you're at the other job or working with those people, they could be your client standing right in front of you. So within the realm of what you can do at the office with, hey, have you thought about buying or selling? Having those conversations can also be lead gen and kind of in the business, asking them who they know that you should be talking to, right? So I get it, and think you guys are both doing a great job as you're managing through that. So, all right. It's 10 o'clock. We have finished this one. We're gonna take a break, and it calls for the next one on prospecting, calls for you to actually do some script practice. So everyone should have scripts. Ross and Brian, I don't know if you guys have the scripts and Caitlin. You can go into the mykw.kw Education Ignite, scroll down to the bottom, and there's a toolkit and there are scripts in there. I want everybody to pick a script that you want to use and we are gonna do 15 minutes of calling. So if you have time blocked for this class, instead of me talking, and this calls for you to do some prospecting. So get your script ready, right? Call people and ask if they're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the upcoming year, or who do they know you should be talking to. Ask for referrals. You can say, in a class, and we're doing a contest to see who can get the most referrals. Can you help me win? Can you give me a name of someone I should be talking to? Okay, that's what Rucker Group took a day 2 weeks ago, and they all blitzed calling all day, and they got 100 and I think it was 39 referrals, right? It is incredible. So 15 minutes, so it is 10:05. We're going to be back at 10:20. Well, you know what? Let's go through this for a minute.
Should we be using the Spark or Elementals?
It's in prospecting. So yeah, we're going to Elementals is now prospecting. So I've got to pull that one up. If you need to take a quick 5-minute break, do that. Let's just keep going, because I know Robbie's going to come in and he's going to do some command stuff, but I do want to talk about prospecting and flip through those. So I got to switch the slideshow. So
there's two different script books. There's a Spark and then there's an Elementals script book.
Do the Elementals if you're just getting started. Yeah. Or that's where we are now.
Okay.
All right. So 5 minutes. Run to the restroom if you have to, or look for those scripts. Because yeah, I'm looking at time. I don't know if we're gonna have time to do all that. There's your 10-4. Yeah, see, there was the 30 minutes role play, but we're not going to be able to do that. Oh, okay. What, huh? No. No, not that I can make it. Just remind me to come back to it and all right. I'm gonna run to the restroom and be right back.
call is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please disconnect at this time. All of our agents are busy helping other customers. At the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options. To listen to your message, press 1. To erase and re-record, press 2. To send, press 3. To send this message as urgent, press 4. That's right. That's right.
So they must have had the buyer, the reason they were putting it as 9 and all that, so they must have got the buyer as well. It's Ryan Sanford.
Actually,
Pending, but then when you look at the thing, it says 9 and all that.
well, it could just be off market, like, yeah, they could have just gotten somebody, yeah, they got a person unrepresented. Yeah. Where was that house?
South French Road,
How much was it?
$6.99.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's just, I would let them know that you've got a buyer very interested, and if anything falls out, to let you know.
6 days on the market.
Yeah. Someone gave them a heck of a deal, and they just decided that.
Oh, you better believe I'm gonna put it in my cart. Watch.
That's right, that's right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started again. Everybody still with me? Let me make sure I got everybody online. I've got Ross, Brittany, Alyssa, Caitlin, Jason, Brian. Did I leave anybody out? I'm afraid to mess up this view that I'm gonna mess up everything. Oh wait, I know, I'm going to participants. All right, I got everybody. All right, y'all ready to get started again? Okay, we're gonna get started again. James, you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, great. Prospecting. Prospecting is money intensive, passive, and long-term results, or it can be time sensitive, proactive, and immediate results. So when we talk about the different ways of prospecting, sending an email versus phone calls, door knocking, that's time sensitive, you're there. You're proactively reaching out to people, and you can get immediate results. And then the other things are things that you keep doing on a regular basis, either with your touches on your smart plan, that continually start to fill up your bucket. If you think about your lead gen, and every time you do something, you're getting a drop in the bucket, and then it's gonna start filling up, and then somebody's gonna evolve out of that. Here is a great list. When everybody thinks prospecting, the first thing that comes to mind is phone calls or talking to people. But let's go over some of these and let you see that there's a wide range of activities that you can do that are considered prospecting. You can do phone or face-to-face listings that are not have a broker. So for FSBOs, for sale by owners, that is a huge market. Those are people that we know want to sell their home. And for whatever reason, they're trying to do it themselves. And what's the one main reason most FSBOs are trying to do it themselves? Commission, yeah. They think the market is so great right now, or they think that they can save the commission. Expired listings. Those are people that we knew also wanted to sell their homes, and for whatever reason they didn't, and their listing agreement expired. Those are some great targets for you to go after. Circle prospecting is going into neighborhoods, apartment complexes, recently sold listings, and recently listed properties. How could you circle prospect around a recently sold or recently listed property? So if you were to take one of those properties and draw a circle around it and try to target those people, how would you use a recently sold to do that, to find someone? You would reach out and let them know, hey, I'm calling because a house on your street recently sold, and there were, if it was, say, somebody in our office, and you say there were 24 offers on that home. This is a high demand neighborhood. Have you thought about selling? No? Okay. Do you know of any other neighbors that might be? And if you think you have a buyer for the neighborhood, because I know some people are working with buyers who they know where their buyer wants to be and nothing's on the market. Call and say, I have a buyer that wants this neighborhood, right? So you can circle prospect by doing that. You can door knock. You can, I don't know if you guys have heard about the golden letter. On Facebook, there is a group that every one of you should be in. And if you join it, I want you to start scrolling through the pages and see the videos and the conversations that have taken place, that they talk about the golden letter, where you send out like 200, some have said I sent out 350 golden letters and I got 3 clients. So the golden letter can be specific to a neighborhood, asking for people that are looking to list or buy, okay? So the Facebook group, and we've talked about it in other things, it's called Pivot Shift Ahead. So, this was started by a top agent who is now our VP of learning. When COVID came, he set up, and we talk about pivoting all the time right now because of COVID, and shift being our book, the shift book. He has named this Pivot Shift Ahead. His name is James Shaw. He is live every single morning at 8 a.m. If you need to time block for some motivation, or if you feel like you need some encouragement, direction, I would be on this at 8 o'clock in the morning. I listen to it when I'm finishing getting ready, or if I'm at home, or if I'm driving to work.
What's his name again?
His name is James Shaw, but the page on Facebook, let me see if it says Pivot Shift Ahead. Does that show up? There are 92,000 members, y'all. Do you think it has value if 92, and it's open to other brokerages. So someone put 5 hours ago, the golden letter, exclamation point. I sent out 200, starting with owners in a community built in 1987. I got a listing for $1.2 million. It works. So anyway, so there's a lot of great, listen to this. This was 2 hours ago. Someone said, let's make our calls. Homeowners need us. The quote is, if you're scared to make your calls, you're scared to make money.
What part of the country is it from?
James, I don't know. I've heard it before. I think he may be Florida. But anyway, you guys, there's a lot of great content out here. You can go in the page and they have files. I think there are also some of their past recordings and stuff like that. So join that. Okay. So circle prospecting, community outreach. You may not think about it, but that can be a part of prospecting. Do what you love. Work with the volunteer groups and charities that you love to work with. Don't we love to support people that we meet in those close groups? Your key relationships. So again, even if you are in between with other functions, jobs, school, whatever, your key relationships, corporations, buildings, banks, third-party data companies, investors, teaching, meals, door-to-door, networking, booths, walk-ins. So there's a lot of different ways to prospect, you guys. Don't get just set that you need to be making phone calls, okay? Be creative, do the things that you enjoy, join some groups of things you like to do. This is called this says be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. If you were to do all of one, either prospecting by making phone calls and door knocking, but you didn't do any marketing. Or if you only did marketing and went, you know, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I don't want to talk to anybody one-on-one. So I'm just going to do marketing and let social media sell for me. But if you do both, be prospecting based and marketing enhanced, it will elevate your visibility and your name so much better. So door knocking, agent to agent referrals, open houses, and social media. Agent to agent referrals, I know some people go, well, how am I supposed to get other agent referrals, right? Reach out. Be on regional or other Keller Williams training where you can reach out to somebody and say, oh, you're in Florida. You know, if I get any referrals, I'll send to you, and you connect with them. When Nick was going out of town this summer, he went up to New York to visit family. He made a point to make an appointment with our closest Keller Williams office where he was going to be. And Alyssa is from Northern Virginia. She's going home to visit her family. She's also going to visit a KW office. That's how they're going to get referrals. They're going to meet people, leave their cards, so that those team leaders and other people in the office will go, hey, we had that guy from Richmond. Who was that? Right? Somebody now has, it's front of mind. So you got to get out there, but that's part of the big network within KW. Make sure that your profile and that you're reaching out to people. If you have family in other cities, reach out to those KWs. Okay. So this is about door knocking, approach, act. Again, know your scripts. And remember, ask. Ask for what you want. Are they looking to buy or sell, or who can they tell you to be in contact with? And then put it in your database so that you can follow up. As I was talking about the drop in the bucket, you've got to do this stuff consistently so that you can maintain your database. You're going to grow, you're going to manage the people and maintain those conversations. There was an agent one time that she kept sending things to somebody over and over. Thanksgiving, Christmas cards, you know, just everything throughout the year. Never heard a word from this lady. Lady never said stop, but she never acknowledged any of it. And the lady called her one day and said, I want you to list my home. And she was like, oh, wow, I didn't even, and the lady said, I've been getting all of your stuff for the last 5 years. And she said, everyone else stopped after a certain point. You never stopped. And that's the persistency that I want. And so just know that even though if they're not telling you to stop, keep at it, right? Because you could be planting that seed. Okay, and then this is where, let me get Robbie. He's going to be coming in, and I'll start talking to it. But within command, you can look for referrals to send referrals and to connect. You can also do it on Kelly. So say, for instance, you look through that pivot shift ahead, and someone made a comment or offered a suggestion that really hit home with you. You can go into Kelly and connect with them. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to send them a referral now, but you can connect and get in their network. And you can send them a message. Hey, really appreciate what you put on Pivot Shift Ahead that really inspired me or motivated me or whatever. Go through some of the Keller Williams Facebook pages on our KW Alliance Tech Mastermind. Those are all the agents within our alliance group, 5 offices in Northern Virginia. Read some of the things about command to increase your command understanding, but then also start reaching out to some of those agents that you think you want to be in the referral network with. If you went to Mega Camp and still have access, like I go in and I can see where people are from and network with them. So does everybody have Kelly app on your phone?
I believe mine is working.
Okay, well, they're getting ready to where everything will come through command, but you can go in there once you know an agent's name and you can say, find James Jones. And you may have to say Richmond, Virginia, or whatever, but it'll bring up everyone that's in the directory. And then I find who it is and I can say, add to my referral network. And then they get something saying, oh, Patrice in Richmond wants to join your referral network. And it's kind of like Facebook friends. They accept or not. Okay. So that's one way. Now within command, you can go in and, you know, down the left-hand side, all the applets where it says contacts, smart plans, designs, there's one in there for referrals. And you can click that and there's a map. So if you know you're looking for an agent in Marietta, Georgia, just outside Atlanta, you go on the Atlanta map and you can see Marietta and it'll show you where KW offices are, and you can click on it and you'll see a list of agents. You can have it sort by top agents, if you're like, look, I don't want to give this to the biggest agent in the office. I want to give this to maybe somebody who's just getting started like me, if that's the case. Or if you know that you've got a person that really needs a type personality, you can call the team leader and say, this is my Aunt Ethel. She's 85 years old. I need somebody who's going to be patient with her and help her with getting the house ready. That may be a different person than a hard charger who you go, I've got a millennial, I've got, you know, a 25-year-old who has to buy something in 90 days because their lease is up. It may be the same agent, but it could be somebody different. So you can talk to a team leader about who's your best fit, but you can also go through command and you'll see, like, it'll say, if you have invites, I encourage you to check this and sign into command every day, because some people will send referrals out to multiple people and they'll say the first agent to accept gets the deal. Or this invitation expires in 24 hours. They want to see who's in command and who's going to be responsive. So I had an agent that came and they were like, oh my gosh, I had 3 referrals that expired because I wasn't signing into command. It's there, you guys, use it, okay? You can either send and receive specific referrals, you can broadcast a referral, and then you can do the map search. So the broadcast would be, hey, anybody in Marietta want to help my 85-year-old aunt sell her house or whatever, okay? So referrals, if you guys looked at your business and looked at the amount of money you could make from referrals, I mean, 25% of an agent's commission just by putting people together, that could be some nice added income. My goal is to give her, I have personal referrals that I'm from Virginia Beach. So I got someone that reached out to me. They knew someone retiring from the Army that was moving to Virginia Beach to teach at the Joint Staffs College there. And they asked me, they were like, hey, do you have any contacts in Virginia Beach? I said, absolutely. I've got a great KW agent. I was able to give a referral to people. I didn't even know the people. A friend of mine put me in touch. And I called the KW down there. Now we have the military added in profile, but I called the team leader and I said, I have someone that's a retired colonel, Army. Do you have an agent that's ex-military? They said, we sure do. So guess who got the deal, right? And I got the referral. So make sure you're telling people in your sphere that you can also help connect them wherever they are. Prospecting-based marketing enhanced. Open houses, same thing. You want to prepare, prospect, and then pursue. One of the biggest tools that most of you guys are not using, and I'm proud of 2 people because we talked about it, and I said your homework is to set up your app and share it. So good job. You know who you are on here. And then another one that's not on right now. KW has created the app for you guys to share with the consumers because they love having the knowledge on their phone. We have apps for freaking everything. If somebody had told us 5 years ago that we'd be able to order a driver when we needed a ride instead of calling a taxi 10 years ago, maybe, that we'd be able to order from any restaurant and some stranger's going to deliver our food to us and we're going to get in the car with some stranger, right? I mean, we would have said it was crazy, but people love having these apps. So you share the app with people. That is a way to prospect. The very first aha, Alyssa said, leave something to value. Give them the app that if they're driving around and they go, oh, I like that house. That's in our price range. Or if they're just nosy, it could plant the seed. I love that home. I want to see if I can buy it. And they can go in Had an agent one time. The app is intuitive. So when people are using it, you get notified. Did y'all know that? So there was an agent that had shared their app. Make sure you tell people, feel free to share it with whoever you want. In fact, it's super easy. Let me show you how, right? And so they got the notification that that person had clicked on and hearted like 4 properties over the weekend. And then they get the notification, and then you can call and go, hey, Ross, how are things going? I'm checking in. Has anything changed? I thought you had said you were going to buy fall of next year. Is that correct? Yeah, that's still good. Yeah, that's what we're planning. Huh, well, that's interesting. I saw that you liked 4 houses in the fan this weekend. I was just curious if anything had changed. Oh no, actually my cousin just came in town and are moving here, and I shared, they were on my phone and we were driving around. Hello, does your cousin need an agent? Oh yeah, I was gonna call you, but thanks for reaching out, right? People get busy. So yeah, so make sure that you're using the app because you can really get some business that way. Prospecting, add your contacts, follow up, and stay top of mind. How many contacts should you be adding to your database every single day?
10.
10, Brittany, for the bonus points. 10, that's part of the 10-4 that Ross was talking about earlier. You should be adding 10 contacts a day, whether you're going through your phone, taking people from your phone book, or going through Facebook and looking at people that you want in there, okay? Add 10 contacts a day. Add tags. What are tags? What do y'all know about tags? They can act as filters, absolutely. They're identifiers that say, that kind of say, if you were to put all your contacts in different buckets, you can put your buyers, you tag them as a potential buyer. You can tag them as potential sellers, so that when you're having things to post regarding selling, you can say, send this to all my sellers. Send this to all my buyers. If you're not sure what they're going to be, that you're just putting people in that you know that are friends, family, then you just put them in as potential leads or contacts, right? I have tags, like I said, I'm from Virginia Beach. So when I put people in, I have a Virginia Beach tag. So that if I want to do, hey, checking in on you, I saw that you had a nor'easter coming. Is everything okay? I can send that email, or I can send it as a text. So those people think that I'm checking in with them personally. And then I can send, hey, happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for my friends and family in Virginia Beach. Let me know if I can ever help you in real estate, right? So I'm doing specific messages. So use your tags. It can help you add them to the cultivate. So there are different stages. Cultivate is a gardening term. And what does that mean?
Nurture.
Yeah. Pay attention to, nurture it. You're going to help it grow. And so you're basically planting that seed and keeping in touch. It does you no good to add 10 contacts a day to your database, then do nothing with them. But it is the first step to doing that. And then add them to a smart plan. Who online knows the advantage of a smart plan and what that's going to do for you?
I've been playing around with it, but I really don't know the meaning behind it.
Okay, I appreciate you owning that. So a smart plan takes anything that you do or want to do on a regular basis in either communication or action, and it sets that recipe for you. if you know, Brittany, you've got all these new potential buyers, right? If you know, and hopefully at the end of every client meeting, you're sending them a thank you for your time. When they sign with you, I'm looking forward to working with you. Here are next steps, and here's how things are going to go. You can set up a smart plan to say, whenever I add a new buyer client, they get this email within, and you set the time frame. Within 24 hours of me putting them in the database, they're going to get this welcome email. I'm looking forward to working with you. Here's how things are going to go. So that you don't have to remember to do that with each person, because then now you're at your job, one of your kids is sick, and you're like, did I send that to the Smiths from the other night? Right? The system does it. You just got to get them in command and part of that smart plan. Then if you also say in your smart plan, 2 days later, they're going to get a text from you that says, hey, James, I hope you got the email that I sent you 2 days ago. Do you have any questions about how the process is going to go? All of those touches mean less time taken from you and your family, and you're still touching your client, and it's automating it so that you don't have things fall through the cracks. Okay? So I encourage you to play around, and if it sounds like you're like, oh, I'm not creative, I don't know how to create a smart plan, guess what? They're created for you. There are tons that Keller Williams has created, and then in the spirit of collaboration that we all have, other agents have also added smart plans and have shared it, and you can see how many people are using them. So if you looked at one and it was 4 steps, and it was an email, a text, and then a phone call, and then an email, and you're like, yeah, that kind of captures how I want to get started, you can copy it, and each step tells you exactly what they say in the email and the text. You can copy that smart plan. You can then decide, well, I want to change the text first and then the email. You can change that, just make sure you change the verbiage. But they're all out there for you guys to use, okay? Any questions on this and how you can use command within that prospecting?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
All of my buyers, like right now, I have them written down in a planner, but how can I keep them in one group in command? Like, how can I just see strictly those buyers to just nurture their relationship? Like, should I tag them? Like,
yeah. You want to put them in command and tag them as buyers, and then when they sign, then there are stages. They're in the cultivate. Just to your point, you're taking care of them. Then when they are actively looking, they go into an actively looking stage and then an under contract. So you know where each of them is. Brittany, guess what?
Yes, ma'am.
You were running around between your other job, picking up the kids, you took them to a sports practice, and you lost your notebook with all your contacts in it.
Yeah, that won't be good.
So when can you commit to putting those people into command?
No, they're all in command, but in my notebook is in my pocketbook. So I send text message or something like, happy Monday, stay motivated, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I love it. Okay. I'm glad they're in command. What I want you to do is time block to go into command when you can, one evening or on your lunch hour or whatever, and look at some smart plans for buyers, and they're broken out different ways, and then add those tags for those people, okay?
Yes.
Add a buyer tag, and then add them on a basic smart plan. That will help you keep in touch and keep in front of them, so you're not sending 7 of those texts. You're telling command what to send, and they send it, okay?
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get command. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions on that? Are you guys going to commit to utilizing that as a way to help your business?
Yes.
Yes?
I do.
Yeah, okay. I do encourage you to do that. And by the way, I can see a report on if you're using smart plans or not. So if you want accountability, let me know that you want to start a smart plan by whatever date is your date, and I'll check in with you. Is that fair? We talked about accountability earlier. Okay. Again, all these different ways of prospecting, open houses, you can do a raffle, offer a gift. Make sure you guys are volunteering to work open houses on the weekends. Those are a great way to get buyers that are not represented. It's been a little slow the last 2 to 3 weeks. I haven't had people in the market center reach out to me saying they're looking for people to host. But you can always look on Facebook. Sometimes on Thursdays, people will put it out there. Hey, anybody want to host my open? I think Friday's a little late. You can take them, of course, but you really should be working, door knocking, inviting people to that open house, studying what else is on the market around there and knowing that property. But definitely sign up to work open houses. Social media, again, you want to be sending things, not just making phone calls. You want to be doing social media. Social media, 80% is personal, 20% business. So make sure that you're letting people see the things you're doing, family related. Be very, very careful with getting into politics, and you can alienate a whole group of people that could be clients just because you got mad about something. So just be careful. And I will tell you this as a warning, NAR has now indicated that they will, you could lose your license if you have anything resembling any hate speech or going against fair housing. So there was an agent that posted something, was a top agent, and they were asked and lost their license because there was no way that they could be fair and support fair housing with the things they were posting. All right, so we went over smart plans and the referrals in command. Robbie's going to show you some of those. I want you guys to look at this real quick before I turn it over. When we talk about lead gen, again, it's not just phone calls. Look at these lists of all the things that you can be doing that are types of lead gen. Take a screenshot of it real quick. I will too, and I'll post it on our page.
What are the numbers?
I don't know. I can check, and then when I send it out on the page, I can let you know. Let me see. I don't know. Good question. I'll find out. Develop your prospecting plan, and like I told you guys, make sure you're time blocking for it. Do you want me to go back? We talked about, I talked them through tags and smart plans, if you want to show them that real quick, and then how they can do, we talked about the referrals.
Perfect. I'll go back in and just kind of
Awesome.
show it in command.
Okay, and I'll look on the thing and see what those numbers are for after that. Oh, thank you guys very much. It was good seeing you. I'll send it to you right now.
All right. How's everybody doing? Good, good.
Well, I know.
Sorry, I was in carving a turkey.
Thank you, Robbie.
You need to change your shirt.
I feel like I'm covered in turkey juice right now, to be completely honest with you.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
Awesome.
I just sent it to my son.
I got lucky on tablecloth.
James Jones. Okay.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, sweet. So we're gonna run through real quick referrals, smart plan, talking about smart plans a little bit. I know people who've been in some of my classes have seen this, so it'll probably be a refresher for you guys, but it's also, a good way just to kind of review a few things. So smart plans, again, it's going to be over here on the left side. It's going to be the little plan with the little, I guess, gear wheel right there. For those who have sat through some of my stuff, what are one or two smart plans that I suggested all new agents should get?
The neighborhood one.
Boom, thank you, Brittany. What's the other one?
I can tell you. Let me go to my smart plan. 1 second. Was it the holiday, maybe?
The holiday one's a great one to have right now to set up, especially set up a newsletter. And the other one really was, it's a new agent one. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a new agent one that kind of lets your sphere know that, hey, embarking in this new real estate journey, here's my information, and kind of, reaches out to them to let them know that you are taking on real estate. So that's just one to look for. Let me see if I can.
My newly licensed agent.
Perfect. Thank you, Melissa.
Sorry,
My newly
second.
licensed agent. That was the one to pull up as well. So those are just a couple of them. Again, you can go through and edit them. You can view the steps and see. Go.
Can you remind me how to preview the content? Like I know how to get to the steps, but how to see what's actually going to be in those steps.
So right here, where you go into you'll go into view steps, and then you can go and hover over. You can hover over right there where it says phone call, and it's gonna have call, and then it'll have the contact's name. And as you put the contacts in and assign it, it will say the contact's actual name right there, so it won't just say contact first name, last name. And there's, let me see if I can go in.
I have a question.
What's up, James?
What is suggested as the best one to put? Sometimes when I put in the prospect, for an area, particular area, they're just looking all over at this point to find out. So how do the smart plan is suggested for that particular prospect that hasn't really identified a neighborhood, but pretty much maybe an area per se?
Okay. Yeah. So
just where they're living now.
Yeah. Let's see if I can. There's a filter on here. Search that.
So I did the hover thing. Apparently only is showing for me the text messages. So there's one that's HTML, email, but I can see nothing.
Okay. Let me.
So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go and look at that. James, let me do a little research on that one, and I'll send you a couple that I find that I think will be really good. I'll look into that one for you and get back to you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's text one. Let me see if there's touch test. This one even have, this one doesn't even have an email on it.
There's one on the my newly listed licensed agent. That's the first touch.
So this one right here that has that.
The simple email?
Yeah, the new agent first 90 days in the view steps, and it'll have your simple email, and it'll show you here's your simple email right there. It's welcome to KW, and obviously you customize it to say Richmond West, or throw that, that's just kind of what will go out to the first one from KW Advantage. But this is just one, again, I'm showing, this is one that would go out to a new agent, not specifically to clients, but showing you kind of what the email would look like. So you kind of just have to play around and find the ones that have it showing up. But if you go in and download and add it to you, you can go in and then mess around with it to be able to customize it and see kind of what the verbiage says. And the other thing I want to jump into real quick is the referral network. So the referrals, right here. This is showing you, obviously, if you have any pending invites, anything you've received, anything you sent out. If you have any referrals that you are tracking, they will show here, sent and received. So in this one, if you're doing this between Keller Williams agents, this will take place of the referral agreement, because everything will be tracked through command. You can find out where they are in the exact stage of each way through the opportunity of the transaction. So you'll know when it closes. The only thing I don't think you will know is when it's paid out, but you can obviously reach out to the agent and say, hey, saw this one close. Just can follow up with them on that. Because then it's a good way to to have a touch and just make sure that the clients that you referred to them, they had a great experience with that agent. So that's how you can track the referrals that you've sent and received. And then if you go to map here, this is where you're going to be able to go and search all Keller Williams agents around. So if you're looking in a specific area, so you can look here, there's this drop down right here that shows production. So you can do production, market centers. If you have any one in your network, it'll show up, or you can see referral patterns. So referral patterns are going to show where most are going to and from. So like here's our market center right here in Richmond. And this is showing kind of where the majority of our referrals are going, whether it be to Reston, DC, New Jersey, Virginia Beach, Florida. So it shows where it's going. You can see the arrows are showing going out. And then if you want, that's going out. If you want to see incoming, you can see where we have the most ones coming in from. So it kind of gives you an idea for the referral patterns here in our area. Now, if you were trying to find a market center in a specific location, you just click on market centers, and then obviously you can zoom out. But let's say you were trying to find one in, let's say, North Carolina. We'll say we're going to the beach, and let's look down here. We can click on that 10 if it'll zoom in for me. So we can find like one here in Philadelphia Hills. So we're going to find the Outer Banks Market Center. This is going to show the agents here in that market center. These are just some of the ones that'll pop up here. Now you can do, this is sorting from random. You can obviously sort by first name, last name, closed units, listings sold, buy size, releases. So if you're looking for someone who's got one of our top producers, you can go to closed units, and it's going to rank them with all their closed units. So let's just say, hey, we're going to reach out to Matt here. This is going to show Matt's kind of profile right here. So it's going to show you what exactly he does. It'll show his closed units, listings sold, buy sales, closed units, all of his information here and kind of his bio. This is all done through his marketing profile. So that's one other reason why doing your marketing profile is important. So when people are looking up your referral, they see information about you. So let me close this out, but we'll go right here. So you see we've got two boxes here. You've got, this is going to add them directly, and this is going to send a referral. So right here, if we do this, this is just going to do the referral request. Obviously, you can say, hey, I've got a buyer or a seller. You can change your referral fee. Obviously, between 25, 30% is the usual amount. And then you can change the deadline. So you can give them 1 day, you can give them up to 96 hours to respond to your referral. If it doesn't respond, if they don't respond to you in that time frame, it'll go ahead and just remove that request, and then it'll let you know, and then you can try and go find another agent.
Can I put this in retroactively?
Yeah. Yeah, if you've already started a referral, you can go ahead and put it in back end and just send the request over to them and all that. Price min, price max. And then this is the great thing about this right here is you can pretty much add your client directly into their database. So you can go ahead and so if you've got a contact in here, let's just use my brother, for example, here. So it's going to go ahead and put in his information. We obviously have to put in what his current address is, and then where he's looking. So let's just say he's looking for, let's say, Philadelphia Hills, okay? So that's going to pull that up. Here's his contact information, and then he's putting the transaction timeline. So this is how you'll go ahead and put them directly from your database and create a new contact for them, and it'll put them directly into their database. And then you just click send and send that over to them. This right here is going to send an invitation to Matt. So this is where you can just say, hey, Robbie Garrett, I'm an agent here in Richmond, Virginia. I've got some clients here that are looking to head down to the Outer Banks area. Would you be, willing to join my referral network, however you want to put it? Send them a request, and then they have the invitation come through. And then once you accepted it, it would show up in your referral network. And then you can see from there, you can obviously send a referral to anybody that you have in there. It'll show you any pending invitations. And then again, you can track and grow your network through that. So just kind of a quick overview on the referrals and smart plans. Again, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, you guys all have my email address. If you don't, again, it's Robbie, ROBBIE.Garrett, GARRETT @VAAlliancegroup.com. And then my direct office line is 804-237-8510. And you guys can shoot me an email and we can set up time to kind of sit down and map some of this out for you specifically that works best for your business.
Hey, Robbie, your email exchange is no longer at KW.
I use my Virginia Alliance one more than I use my KW one. It's ROBBIE.Garrett, GARRETT @VA, it's in Virginia, alliancegroup.com. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys for jumping in here today. Appreciate it. Y'all have one again Friday? No? I don't know off the top of my head. Cool. Awesome. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day. If you're thinking about it, definitely come up here for the potluck. We've got everything kind of setting up and running right now. So appreciate you guys jumping on and hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Thank you. Awesome.